KZUC LP Edmond.
Your station, 99.3.
Celebrating 125 years of excellence at UCO.
You play the best music.
You can't get it anywhere else.
UCO's best mix.
New Central Radio.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show on 99.3 U Central Radio. This is the Matt Wallen Show. I'm Matt Wallen. With me are the real deals, Brad, J-Ro, and Ike Wilcott.
Howdy, howdy.
How are we doing, gentlemen?
Pretty good, Matt.
We have a very nice Valentine's Day weekend. How'd it go for y'all?
Can't complain. Celebrated the day before. Had some things going on yesterday. Had to work, so pretty good. Went out to a nice dinner. Saw a movie. Had a pretty good one.
What about you, Ike?
As the only single one in the bunch, I watched sports all weekend, so that was pretty good.
Well, Ike, there's nothing wrong with that, and it could be worse. You could have been like me. You could have been in a relationship, and you could have made a mistake. And yes, is right. This will be a incident that will be remembered forever. I don't think I can escape it.
You can't.
I understand I can't. And
it will get brought up in the next fight, I promise.
It will be brought up for the rest of eternity. I already know it's going to be brought up how I managed to mess up our first Valentine's. I had reservations. I thought I was doing good. I actually made reservations at a nice place downtown. Not going to give you the name, but it's a nice place. And I was excited. I was like, you know what? I did things the right way. We're going to get done. I'll be able to catch the All-Star game. That's not really good motivation right there, or something you should be thinking about. So it came back to bite me. But anyway, I thought I made the reservation for 7:30. I checked my email just to make sure where everything's good. You should probably check it earlier in the day.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I checked around 6:55, to which it said 7 o'clock.
Oh, man.
So I don't really live close to downtown. And we were getting dressed. We weren't totally dressed. We were planning to leave in the next 5 to 10 minutes and make the commute. And long story short, we could have gone at 8:45. Didn't want to. Went to I think just as nice of a restaurant. And all I got all night was, it's all right, I'm a bit sad. Let me tell you how sad her face must have been. There was a different couple on the other side. Here we are at our booth. At the booth next door to us. They thought we were having such a bad time, they offered to buy us a drink.
Wow. That's pretty sad.
So that's how my Valentine's Day weekend went. Hopefully, if you're a male listening to this, it went better for you. The All-Star weekend went pretty well. You dove into this because this is your thing. You told us last week you wanted to participate in the celebrity game. And the celebrity game, man, Kevin Hart came out of retirement. Couldn't bring home a W. Drake still won, but just what were your thoughts on the weekend?
It was a pretty interesting weekend. I thought it was one of the best All-Star weekends I've seen in a while. Toronto, I heard it was like below 9 degrees up there, so it was really cold, and it kind of like altered everybody's thoughts about hanging out and stuff. But it was a pretty good weekend. Saturday night, though, it was really interesting. You had the skills challenge for the first time. Bigs were involved.
And we talked about that possible big men who we thought would win it and all that.
Yeah, I didn't think a big man would win. I said Isaiah Thomas from the Celtics would win, and he ended up.
I think I took Clarkson, so
yeah. He ended up in the championship round with Karl Anthony Towns, the rookie from Minnesota, and Karl Anthony Towns took the win, and it was really good. I like the hustle that Karl Anthony Towns made throughout the whole event. It was really good. The 3-point competition, though, was spectacular. Everybody, well, I'm not going to say everybody, me.
Well, you and I talked about this on Wednesday, how we thought this was going to be better than the dunk competition. Mm-hmm. About all the 3-point shooters that they had coming in this. And, you know, I believe your underdog was JJ. Or you wanted to take JJ.
No. I wanted to take Devin Booker. The
that was it, yes.
From Kentucky that plays for
Booker.
Phoenix. Yeah.
That's who you wanted to take, but I believe we both agreed on Steph winning it.
Yeah, I thought that Steph would win. I did. And
I do think, if I recall right, I did say that he could get hot, though, Thompson. I didn't think Clay would win, but I said he could get hot.
Yeah, he missed 4 shots in the final.
Wow.
In the final round, that was amazing. Just pure shooting to.
It tied the record, didn't it?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he tied the record.
Did it?
Yeah.
It might have. Yeah, but the thing that caught everybody's hearts Saturday was the slam dunk competition. How memorable it was between Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. It was
with the repeat.
Man, this was probably a year where I hate the term share the trophy, but that dunk competition was to the T the best I've ever seen. Yeah.
What made it the best?
The competitiveness between both of the guys, LaVine and Gordon. They were just going back to back with dunks, perfect dunks on the first try, you know, and
so it wasn't taking multiple attempts.
Not
because we see that sometimes.
For some, like I think Zach LaVine had one where he had to start over once because of the throw, but dunk wise, yeah, they were just stellar, like, and creative. It seemed like they weren't even they had to make up some stuff on the spot because they kept going, you know, into another round and another round and another round. I personally think that Aaron Gordon had the best dunk of the night when he jumped over the mascot and, like, put the ball under his leg. It looked like he was sitting in midair, and he caught it and just slammed it. It was the best dunk of the night, but Zach LaVine ended up winning with his final dunk. I believe he ran and jumped a little bit past the free throw line and did it under the legs dunk. So,
ooh, okay.
It was really cool. It was really cool.
You know, if I read this on Twitter, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. It was the best dunk competition since Blake Griffin won it.
Yeah.
Would you say it's even better than when Griffin went over the Kia? I mean, it was just a Kia.
The only thing, the
still
thing
car,
the thing that I would take away from this dunk competition is it's been the best, like, competitive dunk competition.
Yeah, it's
more
been a
than
while.
one guy.
Was it one of those things where it seemed like they actually cared? Because I feel like a lot of the past ones, they just kind of come out and they're just being silly. Was it just, you said the competitiveness, were they actually going out there trying to put on a show, trying to win? Because that's what it sounds like. I didn't actually get to watch it.
Oh, yeah. Between Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, yeah, they looked like they were really, like, competing.
Like into it.
Into it, yeah. Will Barton, he tried. He failed. Andre Drummond, I feel if you watched it, there was one dunk where he added Steve Nash to his routine where Steve Nash would kick the ball up. And Andre, but it could never be perfect because Steve kept messing up. I think he messed that up for him. But, yeah, by far one of the best dunk competitions I have ever witnessed. And to say it's probably going to be one of the greatest dunk competitions ever.
Okay. Moving on to Sunday, the All-Star game. And, you know, it really centered around a farewell to Kobe. From what I saw, didn't really watch much of the game. I did see the sweet reverse dunk from Westbrook and Durant off the backboard. That was pretty cool. But it really seemed to be that was the focus. You know, Magic spoke, you know, talking about Kobe. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that it's well-deserved, and I think Kobe means so much to the game. But after a while, you're just kind of like, okay, you know, it seems like we're doing this like every night. Like it's just.
We are. It's the farewell tour for Kobe.
It just seemed a little overdone to a point. I thought at first it was nice, but you know, we saw 2 different, I think, highlight videos of him throughout his career, and it's just like maybe one probably would have been enough. It's like, this
Yeah.
is getting a little bit too much. But, I mean, not to get me wrong. I mean, Kobe deserves it because he's awesome. But I think it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, come on.
You know, what it made me think of is Jeter for his last
Exactly.
All-Star game.
Yeah.
And the thing that I believe that was in Minnesota. Yeah, I want to say it was at Target Field. And I think this would have been cool. They took Jeter out after the second inning, I believe. And, and Kobe got away all the way out through the game. I think that's the cool thing about basketball. Like, and I'm a baseball nut, and I don't want to change the game anyway. But they let him play it all the way out. He got to experience the whole game. And then at the very end, he walked off.
Right.
And I understand it. He's brought so much to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, if he would have won one more ring, the question would have really become who was better, him
Jordan
or
or
Michael.
Kobe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan still has one more ring, so.
Yeah. I don't. You said you didn't watch. Did you watch any of it at all? Were you able to? Or?
I watched bits and pieces of it while we were at the restaurant.
Okay. So you probably didn't see the end where Kobe, they called timeout with like a minute left in the game, or like 2 minutes left. Kobe, everybody
I
gives
saw him walk off.
He
I watched that online.
Yeah, he shook hands with everybody on the court. Everything exchanged, pleasantries, and everybody gave him a standing on the whole ovation in the whole building. It was pretty cool. So, yeah, kind of like what you're talking about with the baseball thing. So it was pretty nice. Do
you think players take it maybe a step far? Like Steph he signed Steph's jersey for him. Mm-hmm. Is that taking it too far, or is it just
no? I think that's
appreciation.
I think the appreciation is fine. It's just when you're doing the same thing over and over again, like what seems like almost every other night. It gets to be a bit much, but I mean, it's not like Kobe doesn't deserve it. If anybody deserves it, it's him in this era.
How'd you all feel about, 197 points? Or what was it? 193? It was 190 points, though, scored by the West. Thoughts on it? The lack of defense?
No, the cool thing I didn't know about it was they said that the scoreboard would only go to 199. So if they would have, tried to score over 200, they couldn't. So
that would have been funny.
That would have been funny,
Yeah.
but that's something that I thought that was kind of cool. But, yeah, Reggie Miller made a good point when he said
196.
Was it 196? Yeah,
to 173, yeah.
He made a good point. It's a showcase. We have to understand there's not going to be a competitive defense throughout the game. These guys play in.
But should we give them a reason to want to win?
Like in baseball?
Yeah. Home team winner gets home court advantage in the playoffs.
I don't know. I don't really like that.
I like that. That's a little added something to why you want to win the game.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. Maybe like if they model after baseball, the winner gets home court advantage in the NBA Finals. Maybe
that would be cool.
Not the whole playoffs, but like NBA Finals.
But
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
But then you might have a year where like Golden State wins like 10 more games than say Miami or whoever, and then the other team gets home court advantage. That wouldn't be fair.
See, I don't have a problem with it though. Win the All-Star game. If you're going to put these players out on the court to compete, then have them actually play. Yes, I know it's for the fans. I know the fans really enjoy it. But at the end of the day, they're still getting paid. They should have to actually play like it.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be funny if everybody on the Western Conference they have a grudge against say Golden State? They've won a couple in a row. It's like we're not going to play, and y'all get to go on the road for the NBA Finals. So good luck winning another one or something. You know what I mean?
That'd be funny.
That would be pretty hilarious.
Let's see. Any final takeaways
from the game?
From the All-Star, or just All-Star weekend in whole?
Well, I missed most of it, but I'm currently watching the game on my DVR right now. I'm midway through the second quarter.
That's dedication.
Yeah, it actually was really fun to watch because all these crazy dunks and stuff. If you get a chance, you should watch it. But
I mean, I saw the reverse off the backboard.
Honestly, like
from
that
Westbrook to Durant. I thought that was pretty cool.
Honestly, like out of the plays that those two made in the first half, that was probably 3.
3?
Yeah, there were a couple like much better dunks, like ferocious dunks from Westbrook, and just really cool stuff from Durant. Durant had like a baseline drive where he almost did like a reverse dunk, Like, it was a beautiful move.
Ike, maybe you can tell us this. Which was the one that everyone was going crazy about?
I mean, there, like you said, there was many of them. I don't know.
There was one, I didn't get to see it, but it was on. I saw it on Twitter about how in the East was just up in applause.
Was it Kevin to Russell or Russell
No.
to Kevin? Because there was a couple.
No, it wasn't any of them.
Okay, one thing we have to mention is Paul George having 41 points. We haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah, and
Tied.
Russ
Did
was
that last
MVP.
year, right? Yeah, Westbrook was MVP, but he was on the winning team. You know, the East got beat by 20 points, but Paul George had 41, and at the end of the game, you probably didn't see this, Matt, they were all, like, double-teaming George so he couldn't get one more point to beat the record. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. No, Jordan Killigan, his dunk. This was the one everyone was talking about.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Huh?
That's what's going on.
No,
Oh,
talk about now. Talk about now. Well, I'll let you talk about it again.
Okay, so there's a guy, I guess he's a pro dunker. They travel across, the states and stuff and put on shows. And he, during a timeout, in jeans, he went and did an amazing dunk. Like, he jumped over a guy and basically, like, dunked it backwards. I can't even explain it. You have to just watch the video.
Watch it. Well, we'll look it up during the break.
The fact that he was in jeans was just amazing. Like, he got up high to do it, and it was probably the best dunk all weekend, sad to say.
So you think I'll ask you during what's going on this. We'll take a quick break, then we'll be back. You're listening to Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. And it's 12:20, and welcome back to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. And it's time for Ike's favorite segment and your favorite segment at home. Ike, what time is it?
It's time for What's Going On?
Beautiful vocals right there.
Very nice.
Very nice. Now, we're going to start off with what we left off before the break. Jordan Killigan. I think that's how...
Okay, so I actually looked this up during the break. This is a pretty impressive
Yeah,
dunk.
a very impressive dunk. They call it the scorpion dunk because of how his arm cocks back, but he did it in jeans. That's what amazes me.
Well, when I saw this pop up on my phone, the name pops up, and I'm like, who is this and why is he at the All-Star game?
Right.
Because I thought it was a player, but I was like, I have never heard of this guy before.
Yeah.
And so I didn't watch the video. I just heard about it, and I kept hearing oohs and ahs. So I'm glad you pointed out that he was in jeans.
Yeah.
And that he's a professional dunker.
Yeah.
Because it was
From
pretty
Canada.
awesome.
From Canada. He's 6'1", too. I mean, that's not that tall, so...
Oh, well, I mean, it's taller than us, but
Well, yeah, but, I'm...
Just barely.
just barely. And Brad's not 6'1", but he considers himself dominant in the low post.
Yes.
But that's the first one. The second one is Charlotte is hosting next year's All-Star game. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I don't know anything about Charlotte. So.
Here's my thing. Is it going to be a lot of Del Curry? Because I feel like this is where we're going to go with this.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it'll be more Michael Jordan.
You think? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I could, well, see, here's my thing. If it was more Michael Jordan, I understand his role in their organization, but when I think of Jordan, I think of Chicago. When I think of Charlotte, the one person that comes to mind is Del Curry.
Really? Not Alonzo Mourning?
For some reason, Del just seems to still be around. I mean, he works for him. He does the play-by-play, and Del comes to mind. And with as big as his son is, that's why I just see like something happening. Like, think about this: father-son 3-point contest.
That'd be pretty cool.
Curry's versus the Thompsons.
That would be interesting. Maybe we could find some other people to participate.
Yeah.
If at all possible.
Couldn't that could be interesting?
Doc Rivers and Austin.
A Doc in Austin?
The Rivers, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll probably lose. But
Yeah, that would be fun.
Third on the list is Ronda Rousey's Sports Illustrated cover. What do you guys think about that?
I haven't seen it, so what do we?
But I'm
Okay,
sure has a
pull this one
photo.
up. He's got this bookmarked. It's fine.
You know, it's a screensaver. Get it right.
He's like, oh man, I got it right here. Don't even worry.
Let me memorize everything.
we got Ike pulling this up right here. So
You know, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, what she has done for women's sports. Okay,
are those all her? No, just that one.
Yeah.
Let's see the photo.
This year was different because I guess they chose 3 models and.
So
Rhonda
is this
was one
for
of
the swimsuit
models.
edition?
Yes, the swimsuit edition.
So Rhonda's gonna be in a swimsuit.
And I believe body paint.
Body paint.
I believe so.
Okay.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Is it gonna be like an advertisement for UFC whatever?
Who knows?
Is that what she gonna be? It's free publicity, guys. We gotta do this, right?
That's true.
It's gonna be tweeted out left and right.
4th on the list is Jimmer Fredette wins D-League All-Star Game MVP.
You know, the last I heard of him, that I recall, he was still playing at BYU. After that, I felt like he dropped off the map.
Well, the last I heard of him was he got drafted by the Sacramento Kings, where basketball players' careers go to die.
Well,
so that's
management
last I heard of.
is really bad, I hear. I mean, George Karl's in, he's out, and somehow he's
They were
back
going
in.
to fire him, and
I
then they were
know.
like, "Oh no, we're not going to
This
do
is
that."
almost as bad as LSU football deciding to keep Les Miles in the third quarter of a football game.
Well, and then they were gonna trade Cousins. Now they're like, "There's no way we're trading Cousins for Steph Curry." Like they just keep going back and forth, and then they put Rondo, Cousins, and whoever else on the same team with George Karl and think that's going to work out. It's not going to work out.
Okay, does Cousins need to get out of Sacramento?
Yes, absolutely.
Would it really help?
Yeah, he's never been to the playoffs, and he averages 28 and 12. I mean, the guy's a superstar.
But would he get that on a better team? That's my question.
He might not get that. He might. What usually happens if, say, he went to, Cleveland or Miami, his numbers would go down per se, his averages, but his efficiency would probably go up because it didn't have to be used as much. But he'd get more quality possessions. So I think, for instance, if he shoots 50% now, he'd probably shoot closer to 58, but have a lower average in scoring.
Do you think it would be he would have an attitude problem
Depends on who he
at
plays
a better
for.
market
I think that he would be.
for a contender? Let's say that.
I think that he would have a much better attitude because, in Sacramento, they've never really come close to making the playoffs. They're, 5 games out now with probably the most talent they've ever had. But the pieces don't fit together. If I think he has the right to be frustrated, not to get too much on the Kings, but, yeah, I think he has the right to be frustrated given they've never put a decent team around him. It's been, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So, the guy's great. He's just now getting recognized as an all-star when he's been at that level for a long time.
Ike, what's number 5?
Last but not least, John Calipari gets ejected from
It wasn't even
Saturday's
3
game.
minutes into the game.
It wasn't even 3 minutes
Yeah.
into the game. Did you see the video though? He looked
Yeah.
like he was in a rage.
I was getting ready.
madman.
I was having lunch, getting ready for the OU Kansas game, and I was out somewhere to eat, so I didn't get to turn on the volume or really read his lips. But he was going crazy.
Did he throw a chair?
No, this isn't Bob Knight-esque, but he had to be retained. There were players that had a hold of him. So imagine you and Ike are trying to hold me back, but I'm still getting my words through to you. I'm being held back. I'm being held back. Let me move the mic so I can demonstrate it. I'm being held back, but I'm still reaching for your soul to grab.
Your soul.
He was going to say his piece before he left.
Well, why was he so mad?
Ike?
It was the officiating was kind of weird. They were playing rough with.
Within
Kentucky.
3 minutes, though, the officiating was so bad you got ejected from the game.
They were playing rough with Kentucky, and he didn't like the way they were playing. So, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't feel like coaching that day, Saturday.
Yeah, I gotta take this day off. If you're part of the Kentucky Sports Administration, do you have a problem with this?
It's a little ridiculous, but
It is. Think about it.
What the guy's done, though, we'll give him a pass this time.
Okay.
Just this once. We'll see what happens if this is a pattern or just an isolated incident.
And so that's the end of what's going on this week, Matt.
You're
not gonna sing it?
Yeah. End it with the tune, bud. What's going on?
Perfect.
Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Great ending to that.
I know. Let's have a little Thunder Talk now, guys.
Thunder Talk.
Brad, I saw you post this on Facebook.
Yes.
Talking about Russell Westbrook
Oh, yeah.
and his comments made about going to L.A.
Yes. Well, if
And I
there's-
like to point out that one of our fraternity brothers tried to correct you and all that,
Yeah.
stick his nose where it didn't need to be. But
Well, he was actually didn't realize it, but we had the same opinion. I pointed out to him.
I know, but he likes to just, stick his nose where it doesn't belong.
Well, we all love Robbie. That's fine. But what I was trying to come across as is they did an interview with Westbrook like on Friday or something, and the reporter was really trying to get something out of him about. He probably was from L.A. trying to get him to say something good about the Lakers, trying to like create a storyline, right? That he's coming to the Lakers, because he's from here. Westbrook admitted that he was a Lakers fan, and the guy was like, "Oh, so you want to play for the Lakers?" He's like, "Well, not really. I love OKC." So he tried to shut it down, but it was funny because when he accepted his All-Star MVP, Westbrook, he could tell he said, "Yeah, it just means a lot, growing up a Lakers like you could tell he was about to say growing up a Lakers fan, but then he stopped himself. He was like, just growing up looking up to Kobe. He changed it from that to that, and I just thought it was funny because he's like he doesn't want to add more fuel to the fire on the speculation of him maybe going to LA because on the interview, I mean, a lot of people may not have heard about it, but with him saying that on TV where it might get repeated and replayed on sports programs and overanalyzed by Lakers fans and the pundits and stuff, it would just add more speculation. And the Thunder, that's the last thing the Thunder wants or needs right now.
Yeah, I agree. Your take on it?
My take is on if I can go off of Russell and get on Kevin.
Yeah, go to Kevin. That was our next discussion.
I was reading an article the other day. I actually wrote about it. Kevin was asked by some journalists and stuff about the Washington area, and basically, summing it up, he basically was like, the Washington fans need to appreciate that team that's there right now. They don't take them for granted, basically, and he didn't really lean on whether he wanted to go back home. He's just always like, this is my home. I love this place. I will always be a part of Washington and stuff. But I felt like in the back of his mind, he was like, but I don't really need to play there. Yeah. I don't need to play there. You guys have a great team, too. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. See, what do y'all think about this? Because this came out last week. Supposedly, Scott Brooks is interested in the New York job. And that his selling point is he can get Kevin Durant to go there. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if that's necessarily true because Kevin Durant and Scott Brooks, as much as they might like each other and be friends, I mean, they didn't win a championship together. And
here's my thing. If Kevin Durant really wanted Scott Brooks as the head coach,
he would still be
the
in Oklahoma
head
City.
coach. Yes.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. I mean, I don't think that maybe Scott Brooks is saying that so he can get a job, but I don't think that's necessarily true that he could get Durant because why would you go – if you're 28 years old and your basketball prime, why would you leave Russell Westbrook, who is a superstar, to play with a very raw, also in his prime, I just said, to play with a very raw, still developing Porzingis and Carmelo, who's appears to me to be, on the decline. Maybe
you
not
think
sharply,
Melo's
but
out the door?
Does he have a no-trade clause? Because I heard that the other day.
We can look it up in the break.
I think he has a no-trade clause, so it's not really up to the Knicks if he's on his way out, but it appears that he wants to stay. So how would you get all those guys on the court anyway? I mean, Westbrook, Carmelo, and Porzingis. Not Westbrook.
Thought they
Durant.
needed a point guard to begin with.
Oh yeah, I mean you got what Calderon playing, and he's 34. He's up there in age, but yeah, that would just be atrocious defensively. I mean Porzingis. I mean he's a pretty good defender, but he's still young. He's still learning, and Carmelo and Durant have never been just all-world great defenders, plus Calderon. So to me, it makes no sense to go to the Knicks when you are trying to win a championship. Yep, he has a no-trade clause. Carmelo does. So
he does. Okay.
It's up to him if he wants to stay or not. There's not enough balls to go around between him and Porzingis and Durant.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here's my thing. I think Melo needs another change of scenery. But my thing with Melo's is I think it's Melo. I think we can say that about Howard now. It is Howard.
Yeah.
I I don't know what it is.
I mean, he could have gone to Chicago or Houston and had a much better chance to win a championship, but he chose to stay in New York. So,
But I think Chicago is in a situation, too, where they need to reorganize.
Maybe so.
They need to get players in there that fit what Hoiberg wants to do.
Yeah. And the problem is Hoiberg is still probably trying to figure out what he wants to do. So,
I mean, that's just my thoughts on it. We'll take a quick break, then we'll come back. We'll talk about some trade talk. That's what Wednesday's show is going to be all about. We'll ask the guys what trades they think will be made before Wednesday. Also, Kansas is back in a big way. They've taken down the top two teams in the Big 12 in their last two games. And Magic recruiting Peyton Manning to come to L.A. We'll talk about that and more right after this. You're listening to the Matt Wallen Show, 99.3, U Central Radio. And welcome back to the show. It's 12:37, and you're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3, U Central Radio. Guys, we're talking during the break. Trades. What are y'all thinking?
I think the next 4 days are going to be really fun with all the speculation and the rumors. Hopefully the Thunder will do something, even if it's small, because I think they really need it.
Well, let's move on past the Thunder, because I know we'll really dig into that.
We'll really get into that
on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
But what other teams need to make some moves?
Let me think about this. I would really like to see Atlanta make some moves because they've been talking.
Do you want them to get rid of pieces? Does Teague need to go? Because I've heard Teague and Al Horford.
If they can get a good return on those guys, I think that they should, because I think Horford's an unrestricted free agent this summer, and it seemed like they're not going to be able to keep him, so they might as well get value for him now.
Another one I've heard about is Houston parting ways with Dwight, trying to get as much as they can for him.
That'd be interesting. I mean, they want to play small, and they want to play fast, and Howard really can't play fast anymore. And, of course, you have to deal with the whole hack of Dwight thing, which can be really obnoxious. So I don't have a problem with that. I wonder who would trade for him, though. That would be the interesting thing.
I believe Silva's trying to change the whole hack big man rule by next season. So that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a.
We could talk about that.
Yeah.
We could talk about that for a long time. I don't agree with that at all. I feel like
Learn to make a free throw.
learn to make a free throw. I mean,
It's not that hard.
You look at like Cousin.
Hey, Buddy Hield missed a free throw this weekend that would have tied the game.
Yeah, like you look at Cousins. I mean, he's a good free throw shooter. I mean, what makes him different than DeAndre Dwight? Just get in there and start working. You know.
I'm thinking trade-wise, you brought this up too. Cleveland getting rid of Love. There's
Yeah.
been talks.
You know, it'd be interesting if Cleveland parts ways with Love and they get.
You said defense.
Yeah, I think they could use more defense because you already have enough scoring with LeBron and Kyrie and J.R. Smith, and if you can get good value in return for him, like maybe some other pieces, that'd be interesting. But isn't it interesting, guys, to think if they get rid of Love and it doesn't work out, you know, they get like some okay players, and Wiggins, I mean, seeing what happens with him, could that potentially be worse than the Harden trade in your guys' eyes? If Andrew Wiggins ends up being like the Scottie Pippen type player that everybody thinks he can, could that actually be worse than the Harden trade, especially if Love leaves?
I'll say this. If they don't win a championship, then yes.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
That's what it'll depend on.
Okay.
Because
I think
that's the OKC standard
I think,
right now.
I think Wiggins is going to be like modern day Pippen, like defense, offense, just incredible wing player. I could see Wiggins winning like maybe not defensive player of the year, but like all defense in the next 3 or 4 years, plus being like scoring like 20, 25 points a game.
Okay. Now, we talked about this before the break. We talked about Cousins. If he's leaving, where's he going?
I know Boston has really coveted Cousins for a long time, but with the Kings being so dysfunctional, you really don't know if they'd be willing to part with him or not. I feel like what Sacramento's going to do is they're going to cling to Cousins for dear life, and he's just going to end up walking in free agency, and they're going to get nothing for him. So I don't see him getting traded, but I think Boston will be an awesome fit. I think that immediately puts Boston as a threat to actually make the NBA Finals because they have a bunch of great role players, but no like legit superstars. Isaiah Thomas is really good, but he's not quite a blue chip like superstar talent. But with Cousins, that makes them a threat to topple the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference.
And with a young player like Marcus Smart, too, playing with the DeMarcus Cousins, I think they would really be the top team in the East. I think they would be better than the Cavs. But that's if they get Blake Griffin also. So
Who?
Boston. 'Cause
Boston's not getting Blake Griffin.
Well, I mean,
they're not getting Blake Griffin. I'm telling you right now, they're not getting Blake Griffin and Cousins. In
One or the other, probably.
one or the other. Okay. I get what you're saying now. Speaking of Blake, what about the Clippers? What moves do they need to make?
I think they need to get younger. I think that it's interesting to see because the Clippers and the Thunder kind of have the opposite problem. The Thunder has too much youth. The Clippers have too little. Crawford's getting up there. I think that maybe they should offload Lance Stevenson and try to bring some other guys in because I think they're a little too old. I mean, Paul Pierce is their small forward, right? I haven't watched a whole lot of Clippers, so you're going to look at Paul Pierce probably guarding Kevin Durant in the playoffs like 30 minutes a game, and that's not what you want at this stage in Paul Pierce's career. So maybe bring in some more like wing defenders and youthful guys that maybe have some potential is what I would advise for the Clippers.
Okay. The Lakers, no real moves to make them better. But at the end of the day, all the moves are about being the best and catching the best team in the NBA, which is Golden State. And Golden State, you would imagine, is not going to make a single move.
Absolutely not.
With as well of a roster they have and as well as they're playing together. But is there one single move that you see right now that could take a team to be able to compete with Golden State?
In the Western Conference?
Just overall, the whole NBA. Because Cleveland is first in the East, and they're not able to compete with Golden State at all.
The only thing I could imagine is if, in the Eastern Conference, if Cleveland could swing a deal like to get Cousins for like Kevin Love or something. And just because Cousins brings defense and scoring and rebounding and inside presence, you can't go small against LeBron James and Cousins. I mean, you just can't do it, I don't think. So
Okay, who would you move to the 4 then? If you did that move.
probably Thompson.
Thompson?
Yeah. And Cousins can space the floor, too. I mean, he hit a couple of three-pointers in the All-Star game last night. So
Yeah, it's the All-Star game.
yeah, but, I mean, he can hit. We can look up his three-point percentage.
Okay.
It's pretty good for a center. But, I mean, he can space the floor if he has to. But, yeah, I think that move would really make them a threat to beat them in the NBA Finals. And then the Western Conference, gosh, I don't know. If the Thunder...
My thing with Thunder is they need to stretch 4.
yeah,
We need to get... I think Ibaka is not worth the value. And that's just my personal opinion.
So you advocate for trading Ibaka.
Trade Ibaka.
If you can get somebody good...
Ike knows who I want.
Who do you want?
Because we've been over this. Jeff Green back.
Jeff Green. But you have to get Green and somebody else because with Ibaka shot blocking, Green is an equal value for Ibaka.
It's a commodity, man.
I put him there, add in one more, and I know the dream would be Courtney Lee, but I don't care. I really want to bring Green in because that would be, I think, would help the Thunder match up against Golden State.
I agree.
Because right now we can't. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but
They don't have the pieces.
The thing about that is, so at that point you put Adams at center and you have Durant at power forward. So, I mean, at that point, we know how this team struggled with defense.
No. I
Green
put
at power
Green down on Draymond Green.
But
Green on Green.
But Green is like an okay defender, right? I mean, he's not like great.
I think it would be a good move. That's my personal opinion.
I just
needs
don't
to
know.
happen.
I just don't know. I don't think we have enough defense if we make that move because Ibaka is our best defender. But we will see.
We'll see. Moving on, college basketball this weekend. You talked about Calipari getting ejected earlier. The rematch of the best college basketball game played this season.
Did you go?
Yes, I was there. It was close. It was what I see right now is I see a team in the Oklahoma Sooners that has hit a wall. An absolute wall. Yes, they beat Texas. Yes, they're still projected to be a number 1 seed. But they've kind of hit a wall. I've seen what they've done against Kansas State. Saw what they did against Texas. I saw how poorly they shot against Kansas from 3. That's their moneymaker right there from 3. And they started off 0 for 9.
It's not good.
It's not good. At the end of the half, they were shooting 27%. And I still think it was a 5-point game.
That's crazy. That's impressive.
That is. They got to figure out a half-court offense.
I agree, and they got to do it soon because we got the tournament coming up. So you got to figure some things out, get in a better rhythm, get some momentum rolling into the tournament.
But how impressed are you with Kansas? I mean, they win Big 12 after Big 12. What is this? 11 straight going on 12?
There's this funny video. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called Things Big 12 Fans Say.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No. Yes.
It's so funny. And then everybody's talking about this about football, right?
And just wait till
the
basketball.
Kansas fans are like, hey, just wait till basketball season.
Just wait till basketball.
It's so true because they're so awful in football. When they in basketball, they're just like the model team, the model program for college basketball.
I heard some OU fans say this to another as he was leaving yeah, they beat us, but at least we don't have nightmares about P. Ryan. Reference to send the record on him in the rain. But at the same time, you think they had a chance. Because if the team we would have saw in Lawrence would have shown up in Norman, I don't think it's close.
I agree, yeah.
It was from the start where it was just like I didn't know what was going on with their heads. They couldn't defend. They couldn't stop Mason. He penetrated all night, and then he ended up fouling out, which I thought we should have capitalized on that, but we did the exact opposite.
Well, you had Green with 4 fouls, and you could not capitalize on that either. And, I mean, I think it's kind of funny that what cost you in Lawrence was Ladin missing the free throw, and what cost you this weekend was Hild missing a free throw to tie it up.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, Hild had a great night, points-wise, I believe. Don't get me wrong, but some other people have to step up.
He moved up to number 5 in the mock draft, so I mean.
Well, I'm glad his numbers are moving up. This team's numbers are not moving up, though. That's just my thoughts on that. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll wrap it up. It's 12:48 remaining. You're listening to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. Welcome back to the Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio. It is 12:54. We'll wrap it up. Boys, though, you're talking about the draft coming up during the break. Where'd you have Hild going?
Looks like we have Hield going number 5 to Minnesota, which is pretty interesting, right? With Towns and Wiggins and all those guys.
Would be, wouldn't it? What would be another missing piece they need? Do you like Rubio at point guard there?
Nah, I don't. Yeah. I think Rubio is pretty overrated. He can't shoot at all, so it just makes their spacing so bad. I don't know what they would have to do necessarily, but maybe a better shooter at the point guard position.
Thoughts, like?
I mean, but they need a better shooter if they get Buddy, though. I mean, they need
See, here's my thing, though. No, I think they would because notice Buddy has problems when he is the prime focus. Yes, he can go off. But, like, Kansas gave him trouble, and he turns the ball over. I think they need spacing. I agree.
Think about how good they would be in a small lineup with, like, Wiggins at the 4 and Hield at the 3. Just really good, like, shooters from outside, and I guess Rubio could still play there for a little bit, but yeah, I'd rather them see a better shooter at the point guard position. But that's interesting to think about.
Interesting thing about any other people stand down that y'all were looking at?
Not to me. I'm not as knowledgeable about the draft aside from Buddy Hield. So, Ike, you have any thoughts?
Brandon Ingram from Duke. He's going to go to the Lakers. I think that'll be a good pickup for the Lakers. I mean, he's a pretty good guard. Oh, small forward. Sorry. Yeah.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
But with the Lakers, is that going to help the Lakers at all?
The Lakers are in a rebuilding.
How much of a rebuilding project is this going to be for LA?
It's going to be a huge one. They have to start from the bottom as soon as Kobe, and you know who they're going to try to get.
But did D'Angelo Russell, was he the pick that they needed? Is he going to pan out?
I actually liked Russell a lot before the draft, I'll admit it, but he's got to show a little bit more. I mean,
that's what I'm seeing.
We're just so accustomed to rookies coming in and being good almost right away. We forget that a lot of times it takes them a year or two to really figure things out.
So they should stay in college.
Yeah.
One more year?
No.
I don't know.
It depends. It really depends.
Ike with the truth over there. Truth bomb.
Wiggins or Towns could have played straight out of high school. I mean, that's.
You think there's going to be that same problem with Simmons? Because Ike, you've texted me and said Simmons needs to stay.
I feel like Simmons needs to stay just one more year. I mean, he's good, but I bet you he could be transformed into a great stretch forward in college and then go. I feel like his stock wouldn't even drop if he comes back and just dominates next year, with LSU still being a top 25 team. So,
Brad?
My only thing if I was in that position is, what about injury? Like, you can't think about that, but I mean, it happens. I mean, Paul George, Westbrook, I mean, guys get hurt. I mean, it's unfortunate, but how sick would you be if you could have made, millions of dollars, and then you get hurt because you went back to college, and then you make still millions of dollars, but not as many millions as you could have? That would just make me sick. Yeah. I'm just saying. It's just a tough situation. That's the easiest way to put it. Tough situation.
I don't know. For some reason, I just want him to end up in L.A.
Simmons?
Simmons, yes.
That'd be fun.
That's what I'm thinking.
That'd be fun.
Simmons going to L.A. Well, probably.
And we'll see what happens with Julius Randle, too.
I feel like he would squander away in Philly.
Yeah, I agree. Philly has no idea what they're doing.
I mean, when your top person's Ish Smith, I mean.
Yeah.
Moving on, but we talked about the Lakers. When you think of Lakers, you think of Magic. Magic was on Jimmy Fallon, with Peyton Manning, and trying to recruit Peyton to come to play for the Rams. Basically saying, I've been trying to recruit him. I'd even pitch in some money. Thoughts?
I guess that'd be fun to watch Peyton play one more year, but he hopefully he doesn't. I think he should retire. I'll go on record saying that. Going to LA, I mean, that'd be interesting for the Rams, especially their first season back in Los Angeles. But yeah, I'd rather just see Peyton retire. But
would they make the playoffs? I'm just asking.
The Rams.
Would they make the playoffs even with Peyton Manning?
I don't think so. That division is so tough. And then
because you got the Cardinals and you have
the Seahawks. Yeah, and then who's the other team?
San Francisco.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything.
Chip Kelly's not going to get.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. It might be fun for the fans, but I don't. Now, if he was recruiting Peyton to play for the Lakers, that would be interesting.
What position?
They might use the. I would say, what is he, 6'5"? I would say, I don't know what kind of shot he has. Excuse me. Wow.
Well, he has a bad neck.
Bad neck.
Can barely run up and down the court.
Hey, 10 minutes. Stretch the floor.
What do you think his hook shot looks like? Come down on the post.
Do you think he tries the audible when he's at the post? Like, Omaha. That's the way he calls for a pick. Omaha.
Hey,
oh my
not a
gosh.
bad idea. Any last thoughts, guys, before we wrap it up?
Wish me luck on this test I got going.
Okay.
UCO baseball plays tomorrow at home against Southern Nazarene, so
that should be a good game.
We should go out and support them.
What's the baseball team's record, Ike?
They lost big in Arkansas.
Big.
I think it was like 1-11, but I think they are 2-1. I don't know.
I think they have a good record overall.
Sounds about right. The season's young and all that. Division I starts this weekend on Friday the 19th.
Should be fun.
College baseball starting up. MLB will be next. Be sure to tune in Wednesday for the NBA Trade Talk.
Trade show.
Trade show. I like that, trade show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at @the_MW_show. Email us at themattwallenshow@gmail.com. Go to the blog to watch the show at themattwallenshow.blogspot.com. And find us on Facebook. Just search The Matt Wallen Show. You'll find us. Like us. We love hearing from you guys, and we love talking sports with you. Well, it's been fun, guys. We'll see you Wednesday. You're listening to The Matt Wallen Show on 99.3 U Central Radio.
KZUC LP Edmond.
Your station, 99.3.
Celebrating 125 years of excellence at UCO.
We play the best music.
Can't get it anywhere else.
UCO's best mix.
New Central Radio.